Yo, G Money, the Push on Taste Radio, Dash Radio. Again, I'm here, and I get to say this. Another friend and family of this show, of this station, none other than Nick Lavelle, man.
What up, though?
Yo, good, man. Everything's good every time I see you, man. Well, look, I saw the name on the list. I don't go anywhere. Anytime we do the events, we run around, Nick's name's always popping up because he's always working. He's constantly grinding and putting out music and doing a bunch of different things. So when I sit down with Nick, I have my little notes here and there, but I know what's going on. If you pay attention to Nick, he lets his life be known online. He's very transparent.
Oh yeah, that's a fact. Hell yeah, definitely.
I like that. Don't cover up that Hoe Well. That's the mantra, is business mantra. You know, and it's funny you say Hoe Well, but Nick is a whole family man.
Oh yeah, I know everybody be laughing. They laugh so much about it. I'm not trying to trick my fans or anything like that. I just, you know, you should be able to separate the entertainment and the business and the brand away from the personal, you know what I mean? And when you got a partner that understands what the business is and understand how the business works, operate, it's easy to navigate through that whole situation, you know? Because I go home every night, so I ain't gotta worry about nothing, you know what I'm saying?
Keyword, partner, right? Outside of just having a wife, it's a partner that you deal with. You got a beautiful family, you got plenty of kids, and you know, yeah. So that whole shit played a big part of his life to get you to where you are now.
That's a fact, yeah. Because you have to go through that shit to get to the right one. You know what I'm saying? You got to.
And the wholeness helped the hustle.
That's a fact.
You got to feed them kids.
Yeah, oh yeah, no doubt. Got to provide. I did a little excerpt on child support and how people need to view child support differently, especially men, in regards of just understanding that the child support, just because it's not always just about what you're doing specifically for that child, it's about what you're contributing to that child household.
Yes.
Because that child's not living with you for the majority of the year.
Yeah.
You got to be able to contribute to that household, and that may entail you paying something on this and this and that. You don't know. You may not know where your money's being spent, but as long as you're contributing, that's the goal. As long as you're doing your part, that's what it is, and that's what I'm striving to do with my children.
That's the truth. And at the end of the day, see, I have children by 2 women, and you have to take care of them. You have to be there. You have to be present. Daddy's there. You get your visitation. You get the kids. It's never enough time, and they have to be there. So it's the truth. It's supporting them children. See, fucking around with Nick, I go off the cuff because we got a lot of shit in common. But first, let me get to the music, right?
Bet.
The latest release. You're out of control. I'm not toxic.
Yes. I'm not toxic anymore. Look.
It doesn't say anymore though.
I know. I know.
Yeah.
It's just a little play on the word.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not toxic. It was just that graduation of, I guess, like, for the music, in regards of just wanting to talk about my last bit of toxic days, transitioning from the Playboy phase into like the family vibe, and just being a guy that's like, all right, cool. I can speak from these experiences because I really went through this. I've been in toxic relationships, toxic situationships, entanglements, whatever you call it. You know what I'm saying? So I know what it's like. I can speak to those things. And a lot of times people be like, well, you live this life, so what can you say? Ultimately, what it comes down to is somebody being able to speak from experience. Ultimately, that's what it comes down to. So
yeah,
that's how I look. That's how I view it.
It's a popularized term. It's being used a lot, but you set the project off with New Bay. I'm not toxic, goes right into it. You hear the woman talking, Nick be trolling.
That was a real voicemail too. That was from an ex-girl that I was dealing with. So it just kind of like, that's why I said the project is definitely overlooked, but I know how the game go. But it's one of them situations where it's like, I put a lot of effort into it, a lot of thought into it. I was very strategic about project planning and placement with certain records and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, New Bay came out the womb swinging. Brought my boy Holland Star on there. He's another dope R&B artist, out of Atlanta. So definitely.
Fire. And maybe underappreciated now, but over time, the fans and the people will appreciate it down the line. Because consistency is everything. Got same old and hood love, jagged edge, they speak to me, Yeah. So Nick is very talented, man. And he gives you a lot of his personality, but when you get into the music and just all the collaborators that you've worked with, the tours you've done, on top of being an entrepreneur before the camera, turned on. You were telling us about your company that's you're putting on shows for Detroit artists and artists in Michigan.
Yep.
So can we touch on that as well?
Yeah. So even before I even got into music, I was, and I always tell people I was an event coordinator, I was a promoter, concert thrower in college. So I put a lot of events together in college just on a smaller scale, learning about the business, finding ways to get allocation through the school, learning about credit, learning how to use business funding. This is stuff that I learned 10 years ago. Being exposed to it 10 years ago, and then finding ways to be more lucrative as I got older, being an adult, going through trials and tribulations. But yeah, just figuring out how to structure these entertainment companies and put these shows together. Because I always did one-offs. I always did shows with other artists. I always open up. And the type of guy I am, when I open up for an artist, I try to figure out where's the venue, who owns the venue, or who rents the venue out, who's the project manager, who's the tour manager, who's the stage manager, who's the lighting guy. I try to connect with everybody, the managers and assistants, just so I can have these contacts in my back pocket. So when I get ready to spin the block, I already know what time it is. So I did that. I used that same formula and attack colleges in my state. I live in Atlanta, but I know the market and I know the value in the popular Michigan artists. Yeah. So, I negotiated contracts with it, and I did this single-handedly by myself with me just negotiating with their managers, with the artists directly. I have relationships with a lot of these artists because I watch a lot of these artists come up in regards of the music. They watch me come up in the music. Some of us were doing shows at Hole in the Walls when we were younger. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I did Hole in the Walls with Sada Baby, RC Mike. I did shows with him, Y&J, all these guys, some of the biggest artists out of our state. I didn't book them through my company, or I didn't collab with them in some way, shape, or fashion. So, we just, like I said, we just finished up the Michigan Made tour. That was back in back in February of this year. Definitely a learning experience. Dealing with colleges is a very, 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 very sensitive situation due to the fact, you have a lot of we had a big mass shooting. Well, not mass shooting, we had a college shooting in Michigan State during our tour. So it was, it rocked the state. So stuff like that, so I just try to be privy to. But yeah, dealing with the colleges and dealing with the rap scene and the hip hop definitely can be,
And you've been doing that. Everyone that seems to know you. Anytime you go, you're around the circus, you're hitting all the major events, touring, but the Hoe Well. So can you talk about that next big collaboration or deal that you have on the table now?
Yeah, man. Shout out to Old School Hats, man. It was a neighbor of mine. I bought my house in Atlanta back in 2020. He was one of the few neighbors that was welcoming, because I'm in a predominantly white area. I was the youngest black homeowner in that whole subdivision. So, I bought my house at 29 and just, being me, a nigga. Shit, I'm doing nigga shit. I built a fucking $100,000 pool in my backyard, and then I put palm trees in Georgia. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Doing stuff like that, just some nigga shit. And then I got nice whips, all type of stuff. So he was the one neighbor that just welcomed me and was cool. And he had a hat company that he was just starting, or at least he was building on, and he was trying to get me to tap in with him on the hats, and I kind of was not really feeling it because hats wasn't my thing. Yeah. So I was going through the whole hair. I had just got my hair FUT hair transplant because I had got my hairline like reconstruction, like surgery. My
man, I didn't even pay attention to that shit. Yeah. Just now you said that, so I gotta get one. I wasn't
wearing hats at all because I couldn't put none on my head for like a year. And then what ended up happening was I'm watching him grow, and he's bringing me hats just to wear, and I'm supporting him, I'm just promoting and stuff like that. And then we really, really sat down and just had a conversation, and he brought me to his warehouse. His company now, 3 years later, is $1 million business, literally popping hats, and then it's just insane when you see the growth in somebody's stuff from the ground up. And what he did was he said, yo, look, I want to offer you a sponsorship partner deal where we'll make all your hats, we'll drop ship them, you won't even have to deal with the inventory at all, and then we'll work a deal out on the pricing, and we'll work on the cost. We just go from there. So that's just what it was. My baby.
All right, so yeah, I got my size for you, Nick. You know what I mean? We're gonna talk that Hoe Well
Hey,
hat.
we gonna tap in.
So trend. I learn some shit about you every time, Nick. I didn't even notice that you got a brand new hairline whipped up, and you're telling me. on top of that, you got a new set of nuts. You done got some things clipped. We both.
It's so wild.
We're living at this, and that's, so now you're a new man, but you're still focused on ensuring that the music can get out there for the masses to consume.
No,
even though how successful you are, you care about the music being out there.
No, just say that one more time.
So no matter how successful you are in becoming all the other endeavors, the music is still a priority.
No, that's definitely, because what people don't realize is I may not make as much money on music. I may not even have the notoriety on music. But what's happening is music has opened up so many doors and relationships for me to build other brands. You know, and a lot of times it's like when you ask yourself, what are your end goal? You know, are you trying to become famous? And if you're becoming famous, what are you gonna do with it when you become famous? What are you gonna do when you become popular? And that's the stuff that I work really well at. You know, just figuring out how to use my platform to navigate other things and other business ventures that may bring me income or may just bring me notoriety. You know, so music is the forefront, but what it does is it put me up there so I can expose all the other things that I have to offer.
Exactly. And I appreciate you, Nick, because you're taking out time. Right after this, you're going to be shooing out to a celebrity charity basketball game, and he's buffing shit. I don't know. I'm going to see if he can ball, but we appreciate doing that. Yeah, for charity. You know, yeah. But let the people know again how they can get in contact with you.
Now, y'all already know, man, it's your boy Nick Lavelle, a.k.a. Mr. Hoe Well. It ain't over with. You know what I'm saying? I'm all the way tapped in. But you can find me on all social media platforms at It's Nick Lavelle 1. Go download that project, I'm Not Toxic. And stay tuned for some major stuff, guys. About to hit real soon.
Come on, man. That hoe be hustling, right? My man Nick Lavelle. It's always a pleasure when I sit down with you, brother.
Oh, yeah.
Take it easy. Ogee Money, the push.